2.4c, least common multiple. The least common multiple, or LCM, of two numbers is the smallest number that is a multiple of both numbers. Pretty straightforward. So it's the smallest one that's a multiple of both. So there are two methods of finding an LCM. One is quicker, but is really only good for smaller numbers. And one takes a little bit longer, but is good for any numbers, large and small. So we'll start with the quicker method with mental math. And how we use mental math is we list multiples of each number and look for the smallest number that is on both lists. Our second method is a three-step process, so it's a little longer, but as you'll see, it's better for bigger numbers. So using prime factorization, we first find the prime factorizations for both numbers. Then we take the highest power of each unique factor, and I'll show you what this means. And then we multiply all of these that we've selected to get the LCM. So let's go through a couple examples. First example is we'll use mental math to find the LCM of 8 and 12. So let's list some multiples of 8. The first one's 8, then 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, and so on. We'll see if we need more. Then we list multiples of 20. Not 20, I'm sorry, 12. 12, 24, 36, 48, and so on. And we look for the smallest one that's on both lists. So let's start with the 12 list. Is 12 on the 8 list? No. Is 24 though? Yes. And it's the smallest such number that is on both lists. So 24 is the LCM of 8 and 12. Great. So now let's do the same problem, but let's use our prime factorization method. Now this will take a little longer, but as you can see, if we use the mental math method, we have to list multiples. And if our numbers are huge, doing that multiplication in our head really isn't feasible. Say our numbers were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 57. It would be really hard to list those multiples. So to use prime factorization method, we first split 8 and 12 up into their prime factorizations. So I write down 8 and 12, and let's prime factorize them using our factorization tree method. So 8 breaks down into 2 and 4, which then breaks down into 2 and 2. 12 breaks down into 3 and 4, which again breaks down into 2 and 2. So we can write 8 as 2 to the third. We can write 12 as 3 times 2 squared, looking at the bottommost post of our factorization tree. We then take the highest power of each unique factor. So we start with the 2's. What's the highest power of the 2's? 2 to the third, right? 2 to the third. We write that down. And then our next unique factor is 3. And the highest power of that in both numbers is just 3. Then we then multiply these together to get our LCM. 2 to the third is 8 times 3 is just 24. So again, we got 24 as our LCM, but we got to use the prime factorizations to find it. two different methods, and they both have their strengths and their weaknesses.